What's up, y'all? I have another story here for you. It's actually the story about when I got fired for the first time. So, as many of you know, I'm a real estate agent. One thing that can happen in a transaction is you can fire a client or a client can fire you. Gosh, I haven't told this story in so long, so I might be recapping some of the details during the story, but I have a really good idea of what took place. Yeah, so I'm just gonna lay it all out for y'all. The first time that I got fired by a client. Do me a favor right quick before I get into how this all went down. If you could do one simple thing, and it'll take you 2 seconds, and just hit that like button, so that thumbs up button down there, it would really help me out with the algorithms. It's all I'm asking on this video. I'm pouring myself out on this video, so just hit that like button. I truly appreciate it. Let's start with where these clients came from. This was actually one of my first clients. Actually, it was my first client. They had given me a listing, and I've told the story about that listing that I had that was in kind of a rough neighborhood. The home wasn't selling, and I just went through a lot of personal things while I had that listing. I didn't let it affect the work, but it took a little while to sell, and we finally got it sold. So this was the same clients. At the end of this listing, they had another property that they wanted me to sell. The reason why these clients were selling so many properties is because they were in the middle of a divorce. So they were divorcing and they were liquidating all of their properties. So they had another property that they had as an investment property on the other side of town that they wanted me to sell as well. And I was just like, great, you know, me being a newer agent at the time, this was perfect. I was finally seeing how this whole real estate thing works, and people, you do a good job on one deal and then they give you another one. So I was very happy about it. I got this other listing, we signed all the paperwork, went to the home. Turns out the husband was actually living in the home at that time, and the wife lived in a different home. I had this listing, put the sign out on the yard, did all the things that I was supposed to do, got professional marketing, got postcards, I was holding it open and everything. I was doing it all just the same way that they knew me to do it before, except this time I had a little bit of money to actually put into the listing, so I was getting things done a little bit more professionally. The first home I had, now I gotta admit, that was camera phone images, and I was printing stuff at the office, but this time I actually hired a photographer and I got professional flyers printed, so I felt like I was even doing a better job than I did before. So let's talk about when the whole firing thing came about. One day I was actually getting ready to host another open house at the home, and I was at my apartment. I was in the closet trying to figure out what I was gonna wear. As I was doing that, I received a call from the husband. Like I said, the husband still lived in the home, so he was just asking me what the plan was for today, what time should he be out, did I need him to do anything, and I was just like, make sure that everything's clean, your bed is made, there's not trash everywhere, things like that, you know, the normal stuff that you tell people in order to get ready for an open house. He was like, great, everything should be good, I'll leave the house around this time and then you should be good to go. Got off the phone, everything was perfect. I continued looking for what I wanted to wear. Then about 10 minutes later, I received a call from the wife. The wife was kind of standoffish, to be honest with you. Like, she was just straight up asking me, she was like, so how's the house doing? And I told her, I was like, you know, we've only been on the market for a couple of weeks now, we've gotten a lot of showings, we may want to consider changing the price soon. I know that we were testing the market. You know, I just kind of recapped what I had done, and I told her about the photos, the flyers, and everything that I was saying. No, she was just like, and I was like, you know, still going down that road, and I was like, I'm doing this and this and this, just really selling myself up, because I mean, I was working really hard on it. Everything I was saying, like literally everything, she was just like, oh, okay. And then she goes, look, Chastin, we've decided that we're gonna get someone else to sell the house. I was like, what? You know, I mean, I didn't say that, but I was just like, I'm sorry, what'd you say? You're gonna get someone else to sell the house? And she was like, yeah, we're gonna get another agent to sell the house. I was so confused, and so I just straight up asked her, I was like, did I do something wrong? Is it something I said? She was just like, no, but we think that this is too much house for you. She kept saying we, right? And so I was very confused because keep in mind I had just got off the phone with the husband. He didn't mention any of this, you know? And of course, like, I was young and I was like, man, this was a setup. He was just trying to get me and all this. I was thinking all these bad thoughts. But she was like, yeah, we just think that it's too much house for you. And this home was only priced at like $218,000. So it wasn't a luxury home. It was one with more square footage. They did some renovations in there. It wasn't anything that pretty much like you needed a ton of experience to sell. So I didn't know where that was coming from. Plus, I didn't feel like I even had it for a long time. Like I didn't even have it for a long time to be given a true shot. Like not even 30 days, y'all. I couldn't really say anything besides like, I'm sorry if I said something. I got in this mode where I was almost kind of begging. I was like, you know, just please give me just a little bit more time. I feel like we are very close. I feel like, you know, a buyer can come up any minute now. I'm doing this and this. I have this plan. I'm gonna host this open house today and this and that. And by this point, she was just over it. And she was just like, nope, it's over, Chastin. Sorry it didn't work out. And she hangs up the phone. So I'm sitting there still, a newer agent. This was going to be my second listing that I had ever had. I was feeling defeated and I was just like, this did not just happen to me. But that's not it, y'all. So I got on the phone. I called the husband back and I was like, hey, I just got a call from, I'm not going to say her name. I'm just going to call her, what should I call her? I'm going to call her Susie. I got a call from Susie and she said that you all got someone else to sell the home, like another agent. He was like, what? And I said, yeah. She just called me and told me that. I could tell this was the first time he was hearing about it from just in his voice. So he says, okay, I'm gonna call you back in a minute. So I'm literally sitting there. I'm pacing the floor in my closet by this time. I'm pacing the floor, still sitting there looking for what to wear because I was just like, this is probably just a misunderstanding. I don't know, it was kind of early in the morning, but I was like, maybe she had a couple drinks and I don't know. But I was still sitting there like I was gonna be going to do this open house today. He called me back 10 minutes later, y'all, but I'll tell you, the whole time that I was waiting, I was literally, I mean, it felt like an hour had passed. So he gets back on the phone with me and he's like, yeah, man, we just straight up, we were arguing for this whole time. He said a bunch of stuff. He was just like, she's a this and that and all this kind of stuff. But he goes, you know, I just don't have any control over this one. She's gonna do what she wants to do, and yeah, so this is it. And I was like, damn, I mean, wow, I just got fired, you know. And he could tell in my voice that I was a little hurt. I mean, I might even sound a little choked up because this had never happened to me, and I was a newer agent. So I was like, dang, I'm getting fired on my second listing. But he goes to me, he was just like, don't worry, man. I mean, I'm just ready to be over with this, and there will be others, and she's just a such and such, and I'm just gonna let her do what she wants to do. I could tell he was over it. He didn't want anything else to do with this woman. I was sitting there fired. So during this time that I'm supposed to have this open house, I had to go to the property, take my lockbox off the door, get my sign out of the yard, go in there, gather up all my stuff. It was kind of like a walk of shame. Like, you know, you're leaving somebody's house at 6 in the morning when you shouldn't have been there, and you're like, what did I just do? And you're walking with your head down low. That was how I was feeling. I was literally having that walk of shame, pulling my sign out of this yard with just after 2 weeks, and I couldn't even say that I sold it. You know, I had stuff on social media, and I had to go and take it down and let people know that it wasn't for sale anymore, all this kind of stuff. But guess what? There's a brighter side to this story. So they ended up going with another agent on that house. I was stalking that house for a little while, so I saw that it did end up selling. Just like a week later, they lowered the price to the price that I thought, and I don't even want to say they, I want to say she lowered the price to the price that I had suggested. The home sells. I feel like this agent who sold it pretty much got all the credit that I did. Like, I felt like I set it up for this agent really good, but I couldn't be too butthurt about that because it was all done. Fast forward, here we are. How many years later are we? We're about 6 years later. 6 years later today. I have sold 4 different properties with the husband. Just him by himself, moving through his investments. To this day, we have worked on 4 different properties, with honestly a few of them being as relevant as last year, like 2 of them being as relevant as last year. And even to this day, he has me looking for other investment properties for him. We've become actually good friends. Like, we've talked a lot. We talk on a daily, well, not a daily basis, but we talk at least on a monthly basis, and we're still working on real estate transactions together. And he still references to just how everything that we were working on that was dealing with his previous marriage was just kind of not such a good situation. He continues to reassure me that I'm a great agent and that I get the job done. It was just the wrong people involved. Moral of this story is, even if you get fired, it doesn't have to be the end all be all. There's gonna be other properties. Never take it personally. You know, if you're doing everything that you have to do and that you've been working hard to work with these clients and they don't want to work with you anymore, just brush it off. Let it go, because you never know around the corner what could come from that. And I'm actually appreciative of the experience. You know, I'm appreciative of myself maintaining my professionalism and keeping that bond with him, at least, because it's turned out to be a far greater return than I could have imagined and that I could have even thought of that many years ago when I was in my closet getting fired. So let me know down in the comments if you've ever been fired by a client and how that turned out. Also, let me know if you've personally ever fired a client. I'd love to hear that as well. Click subscribe, click that like button. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Chastin J. Lyles, and I will see you soon.